The Georgia Bulldogs absolutely destroyed the number 8 Arkansas Razorbacks in Sanford Stadium this past weekend, and there were plenty of five-star prospects in attendance to watch the absolute beatdown. Of course, that's what this video is all about. I'll be breaking down to y'all which players were at the game, who we saw talking to who before the game, during pregame warm-ups. All the recruiting scoop that you need is, of course, always over on Dog Post, but I did want to get this video out for y'all to break down basically which prospects y'all need to keep an eye on who were in Athens this past weekend. So let's get started with the number one player in the entire country, Travis Hunter, wide receiver, DB out of Collins Hill, one of the best high school players I've ever seen. He was in Athens this past weekend, a day after, I believe, hurting his ankle. He's going to be out like 4 to 6 weeks, I think. He had a pretty serious injury at his game this past weekend, but he was in Athens. And it's interesting to see which guys want to have their photos taken before the game, walking down to their seats and onto the field, and which guys don't. And he was not with the group who came down to the field pregame. He got there a little late, but once he showed up, it was an absolute buzz. Everyone was talking about it. Long-time Florida State commitment, probably, I think, to close to a year, maybe over a year he's been committed to the Noles. An obvious family situation, definitely not a business decision. The way the Noles are playing right now, one of the worst laughable teams in the ACC. They're an absolute joke right now. But he is committed there. He's got some family ties there to the school. That was his favorite school growing up. And obviously he could start a wide receiver or defensive back there as a true freshman next year and be one of the best players on the team. But he's an elite athlete. Getting him back on campus is always a big deal. He's the best wide receiver in the state. He's the best defensive back in the state. Special player. We'll see if Georgia can get back into the mix here. But right now, I believe he is a solid Florida State commitment. But you got to watch these visits, man. You got to watch these visits in the fall. But crazy things happen around signing day. I'm not completely ruling Georgia out, but I do think he's still a strong Florida State commitment. But he did not want his picture taken. He did not want a lot of attention there. He just kind of wanted to blend in. But it was a big deal that he was there, no doubt. When you're the number one player in the country, committed to a program that is in the garbage right now, yeah, people are going to talk about you, especially when you take visits to other schools in the fall. So Travis Hunter, got to keep an eye on. I'm not saying Georgia's going to flip him right now. I think it's possible down the road because that's what we've seen Kirby Smart do. But just a guy to keep an eye on. Another five-star defensive lineman, Bear Alexander, former Georgia commitment. Now he's down to just Georgia and Texas A&M. Was in Charlotte to watch them beat Clemson. And then was back in Athens this past weekend for the big game. I'm liking Georgia's chances here more and more. He's now at IMG Academy down in Florida. The Aggies are not so hot. The defense is not as good as what people thought, and Georgia's absolutely is. So they got him on board once. They're going to try to do it again, but he's an elite defensive lineman and one of the top guys on Georgia's board. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on. Another Deon Bowie, five-star athlete out of Bainbridge, another former Bulldog commitment. He was now committed to Texas A&M. He had no problem letting people know that he was there and that they could take pictures of him. He was reaching out to a lot of guys asking for those pictures. So he wanted people to know he was there, having a good time, big smile on his face, big smile on Bear Alexander's face the entire time too. Every time I saw him, dude had a lit up smile. He was having a great time. So was Deon Bowie. Again, a five-star athlete and elite defensive back prospect in my eyes with great ball skills. Georgia is going to continue to recruit him and try to get him back on board. Five-star Kamari Wilson was in town. Again, five-star. He's another guy from IMG Academy. Big safety, 6'1", about 190. Can cover, but he can come and help in the run game too. There's a reason he's a five-star number one safety in the country. If you consider Malachi Starks, who's another Georgia commitment, if you consider him an athlete, then Kamari Wilson is the number one safety. But I think Starks is the number one safety in my eyes. But Wilson back in Athens. He was there in late July, back again this weekend for his official visit. Georgia's been the team training with him for months now, pretty much all year. He took a lot of visits in June. I think A&M is high on his list. I think Miami was at one point. I think Florida was at one point. Georgia has been the team, the most consistent, team towards the top of his recruitment for a long, long time, if I had to pick a school for Kamari Wilson right now, it would be Georgia. His dad was there with the red pantsuit on and the hoodie and just blinged out, man. Those guys are having a great time. Definitely think Georgia's the team trending for Kamari Wilson and his dad from what I saw this past weekend. So another elite five-star prospect to definitely keep in mind. And then another five-star, Mykel Williams, the number one defensive end edge prospect in the state of Georgia. Five-star guy, one of the top pass rushers in the country, committed to Southern Cal. But are you really committed to Southern Cal when they don't have a head coach? I think it's safe to look at him like an uncommitted prospect. He was in Athens this past weekend, had a great time. Someone close to him and his family told me that they rolled out the red carpet for him. They continue to push for Mykel Williams, as they should. Yeah, I mean, he's an elite pass rusher, 6'5", 260, explosive off the edge. This is a guy that you draw up. This is a guy that gets to the quarterback and makes a lot of plays, and he's from your state. This is a guy that the Bulldogs can't really or shouldn't be losing out on, actually. So he'll be back in a couple weeks for the Kentucky game for an official visit. So that'll be 2 visits to Georgia in the month of October for Mykel Williams, the five-star defensive lineman, currently committed to Southern Cal. He's got a few more official visits that he needs to set up. There's not a lot of dates yet, but he's going to take quite a few visits. So this is another guy you have to look at and say, we got to recruit him like he's uncommitted. So I think Georgia's going to continue to push for him. Listen, those are of those group of 5 kids I just talked about. I think Georgia could absolutely land 4 of them, with the one guy not, being Travis Hunter, who I think will continue to stay committed to Florida State. But who really knows there? But Bear Alexander, I think, is trending towards Georgia. I think Deion Bowie could trend back towards Georgia in a big way. Kamari Wilson has been trending towards Georgia for months now. And then Mykel Williams, I think, is a guy who could easily flip to Georgia at some point down the road. So, those are all guys in the 22 class. You also had 2023 5-stars, LT Overton, an elite defensive end pass rusher out of Milton High School, top 5 player in the country for 23. He was in town, and that's a big deal because I think that's down to Alabama and Texas A&M right now. Malachi Starks, 5-star commitment. He's in the 22 class as well, but he was there, just another 5-star kid. James Smith, another 2023 defensive lineman, 5-star from Alabama, was in town. And then there's a 4-star wide receiver committed to another school from the state of Georgia who is in town too, a guy who did not want his picture taken. You can look up his name because he did not want it out there. He did not want people taking pictures of him. But he's an in-state wide receiver committed to a major program outside of the SEC who was in Athens for the 2nd time this year to see a game. So all the information, all the latest scoop, it's all over on Dog Post. We've got pictures, we've got recruiting notes, we've got team notes. It's all over there. Make sure you go check us out. Again, thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I'll see you over on the website.